telling her truth, and it just helps, people. AJ, you want to share something with us?
It's very interesting. You said that. Very interesting. I,
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight for another episode of the Artist Connection. We have a dynamic lineup today. Tonight, you guys are going to get some fire, fire, fire. I'm going to pass the mic to my co host, AJ. AJ, introduce the next poet.
I introduced the first poet.
The first poet, yes.
Thank you for having me. This is such a, whew, yeah, I want to get into it immediately. What's up, Matri?
What's up, man? I see you want.
Yeah, yes, sir, yes, sir. Now, the first artist that we're going to bring up is a woman that I spoke to about her fan. And she is born in Carbondale and moved to Pittsburgh. And she's going to tell us the rest of her story. This is Couture.
Yes. Hi, everybody. My name's Katora Vactor. I lived in Carbondale, Illinois. Was raised there for a little bit, and then I moved to Pittsburgh for most of my life. And I went to California University. I was a student athlete there. Then I transferred to Kutztown University. And throughout that time, I went through what a lot of people go through: trials, tribulations, failures, and I felt like I didn't have the support that I needed. So I failed a lot. And through those failures, I found myself. And I had to hold on to so many different identities, going to private schools and then getting out of private schools and then going to other different schools and just feeling like I was so alone. So I think up until this moment, until now, I finally found my calling, and it was to write. And I think I knew that all along, but it was one of those things where I just felt like I just wasn't confident enough to put myself out there and go for my dreams. So I finally did that last year when Community Literature Initiative found me. And it was, I just came from a conference that I met so many other wonderful poets and educators, and how I met Drea the poet too. It was about 2 weeks ago, and I met so many other poets that was telling me the same story of how Community Literature Initiative just found them. I thought they were spam at first in my email, and I got a call, and I was like, I didn't, send any submissions in for my poetry, and they were like, well, we seen some of your work and we want to interview you. And it's been history from there. So I just finished up this spring. I'm going in, I finished up, yep, this spring, and I'll be going into the fall, and I'll be writing my first piece of work, piece of poetry, and it's called I Found My Voice. And Treya, you want me to go into a poem?
Yes, ma'am.
Well,
Let's bless our mic.
yeah, okay. Oh, also too, I just accepted a position as an art coordinator at a library that's very popular in Pittsburgh. So if anybody has any pieces of artwork that they have, and it doesn't have to be like drawings or paintings, it can be anything. I would love to be able to put us on a pedestal because it's in an area that would be awesome for us, for our community. So if anybody has that information, please send me the email. Maybe I'll post it in the chat or whatever. We'll get from there. But
Couture, what was the name of your first collection? What's
hmm,
what's what's the name of your first collection?
my first, colorblind in the eyes.
Colorblind in the Eyes. Okay.
So the poem
Type
that
it
I'm
in
gonna,
the chat.
oh, okay. The first poem I'm gonna be reading to you guys is the first poem I ever did, and it was during a time, I would say like 2 years ago. right before COVID, and it was so many shootings and so many things that was going on, and I felt myself becoming desensitized to normal things that we shouldn't be desensitized to, but I felt like I had to because it was too much. So that's how my first poem was originated. Colorblind in the eyes. You see, waking up ain't been the same. I feel numb, body's hurting, full of pain. Words can't describe, feelings can't deny it. This sickness in my stomach is becoming too much. Tragedies on deaf ears, sorrow in my gut. Since I was a seed, this is all I've seen. My people dying in the streets, begging for some type of release. Release from this nightmare we call the US. United we stand, divided we fall. I call BS. You see, there's a few clauses on that dotted line. Approach with caution or get to the back of the line. You got two options: no justice, no peace, or go colorblind. Colorblind in the eyes filled with pride. They refuse to see. It's easier, you see. Refuse to admit what's deep down inside. As children, we all learned colors. No color was special than the other. But somehow we all knew black just wasn't the color. It's ugly. It's dirty. It's sad. You see, from a young age, we only associate it with being bad. Colorblind doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. Watch the news. Listen to the narrative. Read between the lies. You see, most don't get to truly see behind those blurred lines. From the books we read at a young age to the TV screens paved with propaganda and bias exchange, there's no way out. Colorblind is the name of the game.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's incredible. Where can we find your work? You said that. What was the name of the first book? When I asked you what was your first collection, you
Oh,
told
no,
me that was your piece that you were about to do. What's the name
yes.
of your first book that you're about to publish?
The first book that I'm about to publish this winter, Lord willing, it will be I Found My Voice
I
by Couture
found my
Factors.
voice.
Sorry, I misunderstood you. But
Okay.
my first
Okay.
collection of work will be I Found My Voice,
I
my
found my
first
voice.
piece. Hmm.
Yes, you did. And we didn't even hear the fan either. That was a beautiful thing.
I was worried
Right on
about
time. Right on time. Right on time.
you gonna leave that alone.
That's right. I'm gonna pass the mic over to A Lee.
Okay, thank you so much for that piece. That was much needed. Next up to bless our mic is Boogie. Boogie, tell us about yourself, what you have going on in the community, any upcoming events, and then bless our mic.
Wow. Long story longer. Nomad, lived a little bit every place, started in Cleveland. Now I'm in Pomona, California. Poetry slam champion, Apollo legend, recorded with a whole bunch of people, won a lot of stuff. I'm not big into resumes. I'm a poet and I'm also a therapist. And that's what I'm working on. I work in a mix of a private practice and an IMD, and that's for people who've been conserved. So yeah, and poets are just unlicensed psychologists anyway. So I was always doing it. Um, right now, I have a book out called Dear James, and I have a bunch of books out. If you want to buy my books, only one of them is on Amazon, and that's called The Relationship Cookbook, and that's as a therapist, as a poet. It's thebookpatch.com, and just look up the Boogeyman, and you can find all my books. It's like 6 of them. And then I have a play that I'm doing in Long Beach in July 29th, August 5th, and August 12th. I put a link in the chat. Just online tickets only. It's a immersive multimedia play film poetry extravaganza, and I break the fourth wall, so you're part of the play when you come in, and that's what I'm working in. And we also have Charles Reese, who's an internationally known actor who has played James Baldwin for 25 years. He's actually playing the spirit of James Baldwin, and he appears through film, so he's not physically in there, but we have conversations through James Baldwin's words. And so that's what I'm up to right now. And also starting a nonprofit that is going to be a middle person for people who need help but don't want to go to therapy or might not need therapy. So it's going to be 1 to 3 day psychological interventions to help you work through anxiety, stress, ADHD, all that kind of stuff. And then if you still need more, we help you actually develop a concept of therapy and then help you find a therapist. So that's what I'm doing. So, okay, that's enough about me. So the poem I'm reading now is I wrote in response to all of the gun violence and the stupid rhetoric around it. It's called Amended Family. All righty then. I'm looking for a tutor. Instruction on how to love guns more than children and life. I'm not that skilled at indifference. Please only apply if you're willing to choose school shootings and church and mosque massacres over background checks and weapon bans. And when there are no more children and conception is collateral damage, you can teach classes on how to birth Glocks and raise bullets, sit in corners in company parking lots and battlefields, cheer them on as they learn to siphon life and leave the world empty. Hold them like they are alive, like they will care for you, visit and talk to you in the years where lights dim and muscles return their strength to the dust. Provide you assault weapon grandchildren with high capacity magazines. Love them like they have never robbed a womb or a family. Love them to death. And that's it. It's a short one.
Yes, thank you so much for that piece. Y'all coming with the important pieces first. I see y'all. I'm passing the mic back to AJ. AJ, the mic's on you.
And I'm so glad that you passed the mic to me because I'm about to pass the mic to a brother who is, see, every once in a while, you come across uh, brotherhoods or alliances where you might know somebody for years, but you may not formally meet. I had the pleasure of meeting him and his queen in February just through chance, and I was volunteering at the Pan African Film Festival, and we had been knowing each other through Clubhouse for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
And brother's been saying, come on, I got the Raquel's Jazz Lounge and the IE. I'm like, brother, I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. I'm telling you, I'm gonna get there. And here we are again. What a blessing. This is so encouraging. I love my brother. And I'm going to introduce, for any of you who don't know, this is Brother Michael Matry.
Man,
Hey,
brother. We keep crossing paths. I'm beginning to believe that it's divine.
It is. It is.
uh, like AJ said, my name is Michael Matry. I started off as an inspirational speaker first, life coach, host, and I still do those things. But poetry is something that I madly fell in love with about 10 years back. And it's been a progression for me. Everything has been a progression. And what I realize about poetry is just such a reflection of life. So a lot of my poetry ends up being more spiritual in nature, but more on the life coaching, inspirational side. Um, but there's range there because even in that, there's the feels that come with poetry, the ups, the downs, the lefts, the rights. So I started off on Clubhouse. Um, Brief thing about me is that I took the show that I was curating on Clubhouse and then we brought it live with a real band and artists, local artists from Southern California, and it turned out to be good, just as good as it was on the Clubhouse platform. So I'm grateful for that. It's called Up From Here Poetry. And so that's what I'm representing today. We have a show coming up on July 19th. Many of the faces you see here have blessed the stage. Boogie's been a main eventer for our show as well. So this is an amazing poetry community. So I'm so grateful to share stages with such amazing talent and amazing people. Um, so that's that. And then I'm a recording artist and a poet, and I do shows in LA and things of that nature. But really, I'm trying to invest in my business because, you know, as time goes on, you want something that can surpass you. So, whew, what to share? Okay, I'm ready. You ready? I'm ready. I will just love again. I will just feel again. I know my heart is flawed, but I have been renewed by freedom. Have you ever been under a deep sleep? Deeper than your mind or your kind can reach, you know what kind. Your kind. The fog you're always running from behind, watching life pass you by while you stuck outside of your mind. That kind. No reconciliation of the man you used to be. Or do your days run together like you're repeating the same dream? The one where you are about to reach your finish line, and right when you are about to reach your medal, bam, you get knocked down so hard that you gotta have faith and no weapon formed against me turns into I just pray to get to breathe, sit and bleed. No sense of getting up now. You have 2 miles to feed. How will it get done, Mike? How will you look them in the eye and say, Daddy's not the one that you could barely survive your childhood for the second time? The kind where you play in your mind. Trauma repeats itself while it clears its throat. Trauma repeats itself while it grabs you by the throat. Trauma repeats itself while it echoes through your ears, capitalizing on every self deprecating word, all cap, no fear, no joke. I'm a riddle in my own life sentence, putting meaning to every meaning that never had any meaning. And damn, where am I? Boom.
We doing shorties up in here. We just
Yes.
circling the block quick. Matry. So much emotion and so much meaning. Every line. The motivational speaking is always rife in every piece I hear. You just beautiful brother, man. This is
Appreciate it.
it's an honor to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah, you one of the main reasons I came through today. I was like, Matry up in here.
Stop it,
I'm
man.
I'm up in here. No,
I came
I
to
ain't
the top
stopping
of
it.
the sideways to get to the floor.
I'm gonna say it at the mountaintop so everybody
Oh,
here.
man.
Anastasia
I-
F with the fourth flames. Yeah, yeah, that's
Thank
right. That's right.
I
I'm gonna pass the mic.
Anastasia.
Oh, Anastasia, excuse me. I'm not,
Yeah.
phonetically correct. Anastasia with the F's, the four flames. Excuse me. I'm gonna pass the mic over to A. Lee.
That was fire. Thank you so much for that piece. Coming up next to the mic, we have a phenomenal mic dropping poet. She came out here to support and visit me, and we were going around, and people thought she was royalty. Give it up one time for my girl, Janae.